Welcome to Here Where You Belong, your go-to podcast for exploring belonging with your host and belonging expert, Dia Irby. We are thrilled to have you join us. Together, we'll dive into the depths of what it means for each of us to find our own place in the world, whether it's within our communities, our relationships, or within ourselves. Today's episode is meant to inspire, uplift, and remind you that no matter where you are or where you're headed, you have a place where you truly belong. So grab a cozy spot and settle in. Welcome to Here Where You Belong.
Hello, my peeps. Oh my goodness. I am so excited to introduce you to an amazing person, Amber Griffiths. Say, hey, Amber.
Hey.
Say,
Hello
no,
to all y'all.
say Amber. Say, yes. Okay. We are at the episode, the podcast of Here Where You Belong, because belonging is so important. And Amber is one of the people that knows how to help people feel like they belong, because she is a maker of legends. She takes someone from not having the confidence to being confident and knowing they belong in their calling. Amber, why don't you tell us just a little bit about yourself? How do you introduce yourself?
Oh, first of all, I am just thrilled to be here. So, Dia, thank you so much. Thanks for letting me come play. I'm excited. Introducing myself, I usually say, hey, hello there. And what I am maker of legends. Yes, really. That's what I do. I help people become their own version of legend. I'm a brand strategist and an igniter of personal moxie. So I get to help people tap into the things that are greatest about themselves and then expand it just a little bit beyond what's comfy and cozy. And that really is part of what helps them step onto their own road to legend. So that's what I get to do.
That's amazing. I love the moxie.
I know. It's so fun.
So I met you, the first time I ever met you was at a speakers conference.
Yes.
And I remember there was a whole panel of people sitting up at the front of the room, and each person was supposed to say something. I don't even remember what you said, either introduce yourself or just make a statement. And everybody else was me. And then Amber. And I'm like, she knows what she's talking about. I know if you are a legend and that you have the ability to bring out the moxie and help people be legends. I love it, love it, love it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So belonging, being a
Mhm.
part of a community is part of our DNA. We need to belong somewhere. How does
Absolutely.
that fit in to how you work in helping people become legends?
Oh my goodness. Legend is all about the community. It's all about that. Generally speaking, people have different goals with their business, if they're becoming speakers, if they're a coach, entrepreneur, whatever it is they're doing. Some people want to become celebrities. Some people want to become icons. And others know that they are meant to become legend. It's one of those, whether you are one of those obvious, you are born to be legend, you know it, you are willing to move heaven and earth to become legend. You will do anything you can to make sure that you claim that stage, center stage, and move your mission and your message forward. The other group are, I call my reluctant legends, where they may never step foot on a stage. Their face is not attached to this at all. They prefer to be backstage, be quiet. They're going to be back there making sure everything's moving. The lights go on when they're supposed to and come off when they're supposed to. Like, they really are the people behind the curtain, but they are committed to a certain mission and a message as well. And they will move heaven and earth to make sure those move forward, even if they are not associated, even if they never take a stage in front of anybody. Because the legend, becoming a legend, is all about community. It's creating something greater than yourself, which is why it is different than a celebrity or an icon. It is collaboration, it is connection, knowing that if you're going to go out and create something greater than yourself in the world, if you are going to move mountains and if you are going to create really deep good in the world, you don't do that on your own. Legends aren't made on their own. That's not how it works. So it is all about building that community and really locking arms with other people and saying, okay, now let's go do something. Let's go, whatever pace you decide to do it at, you are not doing it alone. And that is what legend is all about.
I love that. Yes. Um, you no man is an island. So sorry about that. Using
Absolutely.
trite expression. What makes you feel like you belong somewhere?
I think the ability to be myself. If I step into a room, I am one of those people where if I put on shoes and come to a place, I have already decided on some level it's mine and I belong there. How long I stay really depends on how everybody else interacts with me. So part of that is on me and being able to be willing to be vulnerable and open and ask good questions. And, the more I am myself, the more I'm going to mess up, the more I'm going to be, somebody's going to laugh at me, and I have to be okay with that. But really, it's that acceptance and that acknowledgement of, wow, okay, this is Amber, this is who she is, this is how she's doing things. She has her own way of doing just about everything, and still feeling comfortable with that. Um, Part of that is on the other people. Are they willing to be open with me? If they're really guarded, then no amount of my vulnerability or openness is going to fix that. Like, there's only so much I can do to really feel like I belong. If other people are like, nah, you stay over here 4 feet away from, like not physically, but really 4 feet away. Um, so I think if somebody, eye contact is big with me.
Mm.
If I want to feel like I belong, I get FaceTime, and not like that bro marketing old school, like I'm networking with you, but I'm also looking over your shoulder to see who else is in the room and who else can I talk to. Like, I want some quality connection to really feel like, okay, I'm in the right place. I thought I was before, and now I know I am.
Do you have a story about, or have you ever found yourself in a situation where, okay, these are not my people. I need to
uh,
gracefully get out of here.
well, the graceful part is probably questionable. I'm not usually the most graceful person in general.
Backing
I
up.
am full. I am full of grace, but I am not graceful. Um, I was actually, when I first launched my business, so this is like 18 something years ago, and they told me that BNI was a really great place to go network, the Business Network Incorporated, what I don't know, some group of people, right? So I was checking out one of the chapters in my area, and there were probably 85 people in the room. Little bit, it's a little too big for me. If it's brand new and I'm like, we're gonna network, like, and especially at the time, oh baby, like so out of my element. And they all talked really fast, and they all talked about great big numbers. And I didn't see a lot of connection and communication. I just saw a lot of words throwing, you know what I mean? Like, people were setting up and introducing themselves. I don't know how many people were listening, but it was just, we're going through the motions. This is what we do every week, blah, 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 blah. And I left about, I think probably an hour into it. It was an hour and a half meeting, and I made it about 2/3. So I was kind of impressed. I'm like, no, just stick through it. You're just being nervous. But it was so bad. No one welcomed me. No one came up and introduced themselves to me. I was a visitor, and having been a part of BNI now, I was then a part of it, another chapter, for 8 years. I know that part of that is welcoming your visitors and making them feel at home and explaining the rules. Explain, this is what you get to say and what you don't. This is how much time you have, and this is, like, help me understand the culture. So I tried another chapter. So I didn't give up on BNI completely, but I tried another chapter. And there were about 30 people in the room. And I was instantly greeted by the president and said, hey, this is Amber. And he introduced me to somebody else. And it wasn't just a handoff. It was a, let's have this connection conversation a little bit. Now I'm going to go up and lead the group, but show her how to do this. They had a system in place to really make me feel welcome, even though I'd only been there 10 seconds. And I remember thinking instantly, as I'm listening to them talk and they're joking with each other, and the pace was a little slower because there were actual conversations happening. I'm like, oh, here I am. Now I'm home. And I stayed there for 6 years until I moved out of the area and had to start my own BNI chapter. I co-founded one.
Oh,
And
well,
I thought, let's make sure we do this well. Let's make sure we welcome people into the group and help them feel comfortable. But it's funny how, even though they're very structured, the people made all the difference in the world.
so that's excellent, excellent example of how an organization that's supposed to be kind of have a system of operations, a standard for
Yes.
every place, that one place can work and another place doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's about the same thing. My husband pastored churches. We worked in churches for 40 whatever years, and churches have personalities. Same thing,
Yes,
you
they
know?
do.
And and one church might have all their theology, all their doctrine right, but be cold and unwelcoming. Another one, well, they might have all their stuff wrong, but they're warm and welcoming.
Right, right.
What
And
you
I think it
want
probably
is
depends on what
somebody
you want.
you
Yes,
want what's that people are on target and are friendly and welcoming.
yes, yes.
So
I assume there are people who would walk into that first chapter and go, oh, awesome, me too. Bim, 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 bim. Let me just throw my business cards at you, and this is how it's going to work for me. That's just not
I
my
see. I
that's
see.
not my personal brand.
There,
I don't want to give you my business card unless I actually want you to call me and let's go have lunch. Otherwise, there's no reason for us to be connected.
there's yes. So what advice do you have for someone to, I mean, if you could give it like maybe 3 points, what is important to keep in mind when you're networking or meeting someone that can help them feel like you're connecting, or that,
Okay.
how do you
Right. Well, I
genuine?
think yes, I think it's a great question. I think it's probably very similar whether it's at a business networking event, if you're out on the soccer field with your kids and you're in the bleachers with the soccer moms and dads or uncles or whomever they are. It's the same as if you're in corporate and it's an organization, it would be the same of any church, where if I can warmly welcome you and not part of it, I think, and this is one of the things I struggle with because I have this massive energy that comes at you. And I refuse to tone that down. Now, I will not like hug you when I first meet you because if I can read you and don't, maybe I'll wait until I hug. I won't make physical contact yet, or I'll do a handshake until I know a hug's okay. But I also know that I am more myself if I just let the energy flow. And people can, I tell people, be yourself because we can smell anything else a mile away. Like
Mhm.
it comes out as we can tell. So be open and friendly and ask good questions and not in a probing interview style, but ask them where they're going. And especially when I teach people about influence knowing, which is a different way of networking completely, it's ask deeper questions. It's not just, well, who are you and which one is your kid out there? It's what are you doing with your world? Like, where are you going? What are your big ideas? How are you creating change in the world? And those are my questions that I want to know.
Uh-huh.
But ask something deeper than what's your name, what's your shoe size? Like ask and wait
What
for the answer.
So
Wait for the answer.
go back to influence knowing, or what did you say? What'd you call
It's
it?
called influence knowing. It's like
Knowing.
knowing. Yes. It's like you do with Legos or jigsaw puzzle pieces. When you're cooking, it's called mise en place, where you get all the pieces out and there's a certain, it's not just organizing them. Here's the sky blue and this is the jacket blue and this is the grass green and here's the edge pieces. It's not just that. Part of the actual knowing is understanding the order to bring them in and to create a streamlined like flow. So when you're networking, it's not just, well, who can I connect and how do I connect you and who do I introduce you to? Even if I don't have your solution, I bet I know somebody who does. There's a way to actually know and leverage the influence you have in a certain order, in a way that makes sense. You can kind of ask these better questions, ask where they're going, ask what they're creating, and then invite them to a different way of connecting. It's not just let me write a referral, tell them I called. It's, hey, I'm going to have the three of you on a call and we're going to actually have a conversation and connect and then see how we can best support each other, how we can best support you. But with the knowing, it goes even beyond that in that there's certain people that I want to introduce you to first. I don't want to overwhelm you by introducing you to this person because they're really high energy or they have great big visions and dreams and you're not there yet. So it's a very intentional way of connecting people in a way that just expands your reach and your revenue like crazy pants. It's really, really fun and so rewarding and fulfilling too.
So spell that.
KNOLLING.
That's what I was getting.
Knowing.
No.
Yep.
And
Yep. Influence knowing.
did you make up that word?
I didn't make up the word, but influence knowing is definitely my concept.
What a brilliant strategy. Now, I tell people when you're having a conversation to be in the moment, that
Yes.
don't bring into the conversation stories, history, oh, I heard this about so and so, and then you have this opinion that they're going to think this. When just come with a blank slate and be in the moment, hear what they're saying
Absolutely.
in the moment. And I talk about asking follow-up questions to go 7 levels.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Why not go 7 levels? If they're worth knowing at all, know them for reals,
right.
you
Well,
know?
so why is that important? They say something and you go, well, tell me more. Well, why is that important? And how long have you thought that? And what
Yeah,
else can you add to that? I mean, there are multiple follow-up questions. And what I
absolutely.
have found when you want people to feel like they belong is when you're having a conversation with them, you actually are interested in knowing them.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes. I you mentioned the coming in with a blank slate and not having expectations or assumptions. When I was in corporate, we would order business cards for some of the agents there. We had 300 agents, and so we'd order them from a printer, and they would come and deliver them. And it was, it's a $40 delivery or $100, like it wasn't a big order. But this older gentleman would come in and deliver and say hi, and I always was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And we would talk for a little bit, not excessively, but I'm like, "I know you're a delivery guy, and you're probably busy and you have other things, but you're a human being, so I'm going to interact with you like a human being." Well, he wasn't the delivery guy, he was the owner. And he owned four franchises of this particular printer system. And when I left corporate, I actually did quite a bit of work with him and his company because we'd had a chance to get to know each other about something completely different, just interacting as humans without me asking for a sale, without me asking for anything. He wasn't asking for anything. He was just showing up, being a person. And yet the relationship lasted 15 years because like we acted like humans with each other and asked follow-up questions and listened for the answer and made each other feel like, well, of course you belong here. You walk down here to engage. We should treat you kindly and ask questions and interact with you and really connect versus you're dropping the stuff, I'm signing for it. Bye bye. I mean, it direct, like I can look at my revenue and go, yep, I can take that connection, that conversation and trace the money. I mean, it's a real thing, people.
Yes. Genuine, authentic, connecting,
Yeah.
seeing people as people. Yeah.
Yes. Not as transactions. And I think we're all relationship people. I really do. But I think sometimes we get so busy. It's either we're off to the next game, we're off to the next organization, we're off to the next meeting, and we forget to just slow it down and ask people how they're doing. It's the networking group that I joined after I left BNI. I went into a meeting because a friend of mine was going to speak and present, so I went to go check it out. And a woman there said, "Hi, how are you?" And then I realized she was waiting for me to respond. It wasn't a salutation. Hi, how are you? She had asked me a genuine question and was waiting for me to answer. I'm like, I'm signing up today. I don't know what else is going on with this group. That's amazing. I'm in. And I stayed there for another 7 years because it was like these people, and again, that's what makes me tick. Not everybody is that way, but I do think that her asking me the question and listening to the answer helped me feel like I belonged there. I
Mhm.
wasn't a visitor anymore. I got to play. And I think that's what we all crave is please just somebody acknowledge that I showed up, see me for me, and
Right.
make me feel comfy. You don't have to rub my feet or bring me steak and eggs. I just want to be seen. I want to be heard.
That is
So
that is definitely anywhere in your
yeah,
family, in your uh, work, and just going to a store. I make it
yes,
a point to whoever's serving, or if you're at a restaurant, the waitress, looking them in the eye, also looking for name tags and
yes.
using a person's name. I went in,
Huge.
I stop at a gas station all the time and get gas, but I get a refill. And the other day I went in and the guy said, "Is that all you're getting?" Well, it actually was. He goes, "Have a good day." So I immediately looked at his name tag. David, thanks. That was really a blessing. I appreciate
Love
it.
it.
Just, using a person's name, because we do have this urge to know that we're seen, and
Yeah,
we don't know what's going on in anybody else's life. I might have been the only person that day that individually recognized David as a person.
absolutely.
And we can do that all day, every day. If
That's
somebody wears
easy.
a tag. And if they don't wear a name tag, say, "Hey, what's your name?" Because I
Yes, yes.
you.
Yes, I do that where I take my dogs for daycare. I'm like, tell me who you are again, because they don't wear name tags. So tell me who you are. You know my dog's name. I need to know who you are. And think about it, Dia. Think of the people who were in line behind you or in the general vicinity and heard you do that. They're going to go, oh, well, that felt different. That felt kind of cool. I should try that. Well, hi, David. I mean, you don't know the end of your ripple effect with something like that.
Exactly. And that is building legend.
Yes, it is. It is expanding your community.
Right.
Oh, beautiful,
Oh,
beautiful.
yes. We all need to belong, because I say that belonging is the shore. Like you have this whole sea of humanity and you're out there drowning, but belonging gives you a shore to find your identity and your security and love.
Absolutely. Even if it's hard and even if you're in over your head, if you think you're out there with people, then it's not I'm floundering trying to navigate these waters. It's awesome. Now we're just swimming.
Right.
Now we're just hanging out and it's okay. And these waters are comfortable and cozy and safe because I have a lifeline. I mean,
Right.
yeah. I think it's a gift when people take the time to help other people feel like they belong. I think it's something everybody can do, but I do think it takes intentional practice to do it.
So I totally agree. First of all, you have to realize that there are people outside your little bubble of life. You are not the only one on earth.
Right, right.
Someone else is there.
Yes,
And
yes,
I mean, in one sense, when have you ever seen those pictures where they say, and this is uh, here's the whole universe, here's the sun, here are all the planets, here's Earth, here's,
yeah.
and,
Yeah,
like, oh, I am pretty insignificant. But you're not insignificant. You are the
no,
only you that exists, and you're here for you by purpose. So,
absolutely,
but that purpose is lived out in community. So,
absolutely,
get over
absolutely.
yourself.
You're insignificant. It's like the picture that's the little blue dot where it shows Earth and here's all the massive, right? And yet to someone else in their life, and that someone might be you, you're a pretty stinking big deal. Like just sit in that and own that for a minute. Like I'm kind of awesome, like soak that up a little bit and then realize that you get to create that for somebody else too. And
Hmm.
it's super easy. You just have to be intentional about it.
Hey there! Isn't my guest amazing? So glad you joined us today. In this world that often feels disconnected, building community and fostering belonging are essential. That's why I created this podcast to bring inspiring people to you, to encourage you to create that sense of belonging and community, no matter where you are. If you're being blessed by my guest, and we have some more, like, subscribe, and share this podcast. You know who needs to hear this. Stay connected, stay true to yourself, and always remember you belong. Now, back to our amazing guest. One of my questions in preparing for this was I asked you, what's your favorite quote?
Yes. And I always muck it up. I never quite get it word for word, but it's the thought behind it makes me happy. Do you have it right there?
I was just looking for it so I could quote it for you. Your favorite quote is, I raise up my voice, not so that I can shout, but so that those without a voice can be heard. We cannot all succeed when half of us are held back. Malala
Yep.
Yousafzai.
And I can't pronounce her last name ever. She's an incredible human being. Um, that's what I feel like my mission, my vision is aligned with that. I am here. My whole intention with business and in life is to help those who have no voice stand and share their voice. I speak for you until you can do it yourself. I stand for you until you can do it yourself. So
That
I
is beautiful. Yes. And I know that's how people become legends,
absolutely,
because you're
absolutely.
holding them up.
You get you get to create that community where we all have a sense of belonging, where we all feel like we can access and harness our soul gift, our soul purpose, and put it out there in the world. Because, like you said, we are the only one of us. We're the only person who can do what we do exactly the way we do it. And we are the only person who can serve our people exactly the way that we can serve them. So, for so many of us to be muted and silenced, the world suffers in general. So, the more I can help people claim that space, claim their voice, share their message from whatever stage they choose to claim as their own, then I win.
And so do they.
Absolutely.
Yes. So take one takeaway is be attentive to the people around you to see who needs to be championed. Is there someone in your realm that's being silenced? Oh, wow. Amber, so much good stuff. So much good stuff. Um, Making me cry and make my nose run. Allergy. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Um, so this is just a short time with you, but people that want to connect with you or just want more of you, where can they find you and how can they reach out to you?
There are two ways I like to invite people into my space. One is through my online community. And yes, it's a Facebook group, and it's okay. It's not salesy. It is there for support and for community. It is there to ask those questions where you will, that is a no shame, no blame, no judgment area. Jump in, ask your questions, share your stuff, say, hey, by the way, I'm thinking of this. What do you think? And get some honest feedback. It is this particular group is by invitation only, which is why it's not out there public. But if I speak it to your people, come find me on Facebook. The group is called Welcome to Legend. Come play.
Yes.
And if you really just want to chat, if you have specific questions, you can email me at amber@yourbrandbydesign.com.
Ooh, I love it. Now, see, you are living out the community concept, and I appreciate the words that you use. No shame, no blame, because you want to be your authentic self and feel like you belong. So you want other people to feel like they can belong and be themselves, and nobody's
Absolutely.
going to judge them. That's
No.
beautiful. Let's
Thank you.
see. As a brand specialist, I would say you're being brand aligned with all.
Totally. It's the easiest way to do it. If you want to stay brand aligned, align your brand with your values.
So yes, I think in the form you said that the what your accomplishment that you're most proud of. Do you remember that? That you
Oh,
said um, that no matter what else happens in life or business, I live my values. I feel like that is one of my greatest achievements and one of the greatest luxuries I have in life, a true measure of success. And it has been evidenced here today. Everything you talk about, everything you're passionate about, everything you want for people is brand aligned because it's aligned with who you are. Duh. It's like always tell the truth because a lie is hard to remember.
yes. I don't have energy to remember what I told to who. I don't have that kind of time or energy to do that. So,
I
yes,
tell a lie, then I have to remember da 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 da. But if I always
I
tell the
know.
truth, then the truth never changes, or it's not supposed to.
Exactly. It's not
Anyway,
supposed to.
Amber, this
Yes.
has been fabulous. We will put
Thank you.
information with this episode so people can find you because, I mean, I hope my listeners out there, you have heard where you belong. You belong here. You can belong in Amber's group. You belong in this world as your unique self. And
Love it.
Amber can make you a legend.
Nice bonus.
There it is. Okay, thanks again for being here, Amber. And I guess
My
we'll
pleasure.
sign off. This is Dia Irby, your podcast host on Here Where You Belong. And we'll see you next time. Bye now.
Thanks for tuning in to Hear Where You Belong. We hope today's episode has inspired you to embrace the beauty of belonging in your own life. Remember, no matter where you are or where you're headed, you have a place where you truly belong. Join us again next time for more insightful conversations and heartwarming stories. Until then, stay connected, stay true to yourself, and always remember that you belong.